You're listening to The Reclaimed Life, a podcast about recognizing manipulation, reclaiming your voice, and rebuilding a life that actually feels like your own. I'm Rachel Paxton, an author, ordained chaplain, and certified mental health coach. And each week I'll explore the patterns, dynamics, and turning points that help people rediscover who they truly are. You might have thought the problem was how you were explaining it, so you tried again. Softer, clearer, more patient, more detailed. And still, nothing really changed. In this episode, we're going to talk about why explaining yourself didn't create the shift you were hoping for and what might have actually been happening instead. There's a point many people reach where they feel deeply confused because they've tried. They've communicated, they've explained their feelings, they've said what hurt them. They've tried again in a calmer way, and then again in a clearer way. And still, nothing really changed. That can create a painful kind of self-doubt, because when your words don't seem to work, it's easy to assume the problem is you. Maybe I didn't explain it well enough. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I chose the wrong time. Maybe I should have said it differently. So you try again. Softer, kinder, more patient, more detailed. And for a while, it can feel reasonable to believe that one more conversation might be the one that finally makes everything click. That if they understood your heart, they would respond differently. That if they could fully see your pain, they would care more carefully. That if you found the right words, something would shift. But sometimes the issue was never a lack of explanation. Sometimes the issue was a lack of willingness, a lack of accountability, a lack of emotional maturity, a lack of desire to change what benefited them. That's hard to accept because it's easier to keep working on your own wording than it is to face the possibility that your words were already clear. It's easier to believe the next conversation will fix it than to grieve what may not be fixable. So many people stay stuck explaining themselves. They keep presenting evidence, clarifying their intentions, defending their reactions, trying to prove that what happened mattered. But when someone is committed to misunderstanding you, more words rarely create clarity. They often create exhaustion. And that exhaustion can be confusing too, because you think, why am I so tired? All I'm doing is talking. But you're not just talking. You're carrying the emotional labor of trying to make two people's realities line up. You're trying to hold honesty for both people. You're trying to create repair by yourself. That's heavy. This doesn't mean communication never matters. Healthy relationships need communication. Being clear is important. Identifying and naming your feelings matters. But communication only works when both people are participating in the conversation. When both people are listening, reflecting, caring, and willing to grow. Without that, communication turns into a performance. One person keeps explaining, the other keeps deflecting. One person keeps hoping, the other keeps avoiding. There often comes a moment when something shifts inside you. You realize, I've already explained this. I've already said what I needed to say. I've already made myself clear. And what I've been waiting for is not better wording, but a different willingness. That realization can feel sad because it means the answer may not be another conversation. It may be acceptance. Acceptance that they heard enough. Acceptance that they understood more than they admitted. And acceptance that change cannot be forced through explanation. But it can also be freeing because once you stop treating yourself as the problem to solve, your energy starts to return. You stop rehearsing conversations in your mind. You stop editing yourself into the perfect version of understandable. You stop believing your pain needs a flawless presentation to deserve respect. You may still choose to communicate, but now it comes from clarity, not desperation. You say what is true because it is true, not because you need to earn understanding. If this resonates with you, I want to offer this gently. Maybe explaining yourself still didn't change anything, because explanation was never the missing piece. Maybe your words were clearer than you realized. Maybe what was missing was the one thing you could never provide for another person: their willingness or their ability to understand. And realizing that can sometimes become the beginning of peace. Thank you for listening to The Reclaimed Life. If something in this episode resonated with you, you're not alone. Many people are beginning to recognize unhealthy patterns in relationships, systems, and environments, and discovering that reclaiming their voice is possible. In future episodes, I'll explore topics like recognizing manipulation, understanding narcissistic dynamics, rebuilding self-trust, and learning how to create a life that actually feels like your own. If you'd like to explore more of these ideas, you can visit my website at thereclaimlifepodcast.com, where I share additional writing, resources, and future episodes of the show. Until next time, take a moment to listen to your intuition, trust what you're beginning to see, and remember that reclaiming your life often begins with one honest question. This is The Reclaimed Life.